Okay. Okay, so recording started. Good morning, everyone. Hope you are having great time with your family, the month of Ramadan. So far we covered introduction to Java, Java data types, different type of operations with different type of variables. We covered array. We also covered loops, different type of loops, 3 different loops actually. And those loops are called control statement. And basically those are condition. You are giving some condition, and based on the condition, you want to see something on the screen. So that's actually loop. And we saw different type of loop because we want to reduce our line of code. So if we want to see anything like 50 times, we don't have to write 50 times system.print dot out print ln 50 times. We can just write a formula where we can give some formula, and we'll see exactly 50 times that instead of writing 50 times, one line formula will actually print the same line 50 different times on the screen. That means you are actually saving like 49 lines of code on the screen or IntelliJ. We also saw case by case of switch statement previously. Let me go while loop. Yeah, this is some of the example that you see. Instead of writing 5 times this, you just simply write this one. You see that one line, just one formula for loop. But you can write 3 different way, right? This loop, for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And we also explain the importance of break and continue and how they will be used. And the difference, there's a very common interview question, how while loop and do while loops are different actually from each other. We also covered array. We probably did not cover array list. Did we cover array list? Can somebody confirm?
No, we did not.
Okay, so array and array lists are 2 different topic. So we saw in array that every time you have a fixed list, right, then you will be using with array. But what happened in the future, that you have 5 different data here. Actually, let me open the IntelliJ first, where we actually, okay, so this is where, okay, you see that array. So this is exactly where we left on last Sunday actually. So here we see we are declaring internal number at the beginning, and we have no options to add more. If we are to add more, basically we have to declare here again. And so for example, you said object 1, this is a array, right? Object 1 has 5 different data type. You are adding here 5 different values. So now all of the sudden, tomorrow, if the same person provides date of birth or maybe phone number, you see that there is no space. So this type of situation when you need flexibility. So for flexibility purpose, there is another topic will be discussed. This is called array list. So in the array list, so basically you don't have to declare, okay, I have 50 here, 50 will be the final. There is no final. You can add as much as possible. Like for example, today there are in some school, there are 200 students. Next year, there will be maybe 300 students. And following year, next, there will be maybe 390 students. So you don't have a fixed list or fixed number of length. You see that the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. There is 4, right? You see that length, dot length. Dot length means the size of this array. So size of this array at this moment is 4, but you cannot actually add number 5 because it will give you exception or some kind of error. It will say that, okay, there is a problem. We don't have 5th position here. So if I run this, for example, I'm running this, then I will show you. If I run this, you can see this, all of this information here, right? Now, if I say less than or equal to, you see that I said less than, that means index I is length is here 4, right? So if we count index will start from 0, 1 number before, right? So index count, this will count index. So that means this is index 0, index 1, 2, 3. So and it says that run this line till index 3, which is good, which is expected because we have here till 3. Now, if we say run this also for index 4, that means program will come here and we'll be looking for 4th position of index. But there is no 4th position. What happened? The JDK will throw you an exceptions. Exceptions means error, some warning sign. That means your code is not working, there are some problem. So if I say less than or equal to, actually not plus, equal to, that will, my expectation is now I'm including index 4 and it will check index 4 and it will not find anything and it will be giving some kind of error here. Right now I see the process finished with exit code 0. 0 means it is successful. Now, if something is wrong, you will see some kind of red line and it will say it is not working. And some kind of exception like index out of bound, yeah, exception, something like that. Now, if I run this, you see that exception in thread Java, index out of bound exception. Everybody can see this actually.
Yes.
The bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
This is index out of bound exception. And it is saying that index 4 is not available here. We cannot find index 4. So that means this program did not work because you gave something that is not available. This is not present. So that's why it is giving error. And since array is fixed, right? You cannot add more space here. But as I said, there is another topic, array list. It will actually solve this problem and make this space flexible. That means anytime you want to add anything new, you can add. Anytime you want to delete anything, you can delete. You can delete this one also. Like for example, if I delete this number 30, and now if I run this, it will give you error. But now if I just run this, it will be perfectly working. Delete is not a problem, but you cannot add anything. You see that delete whatever you have here, it gave you the information. But when you want to add something, then there will be a problem. So to avoid these, as I said, there will be a new package I will create, day 4. There is a package, right? So in the package, I can say Java day 4. And inside the day 4, I can write one class, array list demo. Java class. And as naming convention, first letter of the class always uppercase. Array list demo. Or you can say array list concept. It doesn't matter. You can write anything. This is just the name, right? So for everybody, can you write any name as a class name? Can somebody give the answer? This is an interview question. Can you write any name as a class name? No, actually the answer is no. You cannot write any name as a class name. You cannot write any name as a method name. You cannot write any name as a what is that? Variable name also. There is a list of name that you should always avoid, because either it will give you error or it will not work. The list is here. I actually, okay, going back. This is from day one. I gave, there is a list. This is the one, Java keyword. You see that there's a group of like 40 or 38 something keyword. These keywords you should not give as any kind of like variable name or data type name or a method name. So those are some specific name that is already has some like reserve. This is already reserved for some specific task. So these names, right, are like, you can say when you go to parking lot, right? You will see there is a parking lot for space for handicapped people. There is a parking space for fire department. There is some parking space for medical, right? Or police, right? Law enforcement. This is something like that. This list of keyword, they have a special purpose. You cannot use them, right? It's the do. Do is used with the formula do while loop, right? If is used with another formula, if else statement. Public will be used with when you create a method, you know, public static void. You see that this is also fixed. You cannot just write public static, also fixed. You cannot just write your method name as or some class name as a static, right? So always avoid these names when you create your own class, method, variable, data type, anything. So that's sometimes an interview question. Can you write any name? You can write any name except these, right? And also some of them, some other important rules that we said. These are some other rules also, right? When you write any variables, method, or array list, right? Something, right? You see that cannot start with number. These are some naming convention. I think I already shared this document on day one. Okay, so now going back to array list again. Array if else. Okay, so this is just like some topic guideline I'm just following. But for your practice purpose, I will suggest follow the YouTube video with Pawan Kumar. So this was array. We already covered this. How to create an array. We already saw this in the IntelliJ also. And there is, okay, so next topic, as I said, array list. So what is array list? Is the array list is a class. So this is already, remember we have JDK 17 or 19 or anything more than 8, right? Something version 8 plus you downloaded in your system. It is part of this library. So array list is a class, and you will be just using this array list for your coding. So it is nothing that you are just writing. It is part of this JDK library, actually. You are just calling them. You are just using them for your coding. So make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Okay. Okay, so the first is array list concept, right? So if I go back, you see that this is the line. The first line, you see that import Java utility. There is a package, Java utility package inside the version library or the entire library that you actually downloaded. It doesn't matter you downloaded Java 17 or 19 or 15, 14, all of them has this package Java utility, and Java utility has this class, array list class. So every time you will be creating array list, you have to import this class so that you can use this without any problem or any error. If you don't import this, import means basically you are calling them. You are calling from JDK library to your IntelliJ where you are writing code. So now, what is the first thing? If I just copy this, for example, if I just, okay. Okay, so public class, okay, so let me copy this one. Let me copy this one and then I will explain. Okay. Okay, everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. You see that this is some kind of red, array list is red. It is, this red means it is saying that, okay, in your screen, right, where you're writing the code, this array list is not recognized, but there is a class inside this library. Do you want to use that? Or you want to import that to your class where you're writing code? You see that if you just move your cursor on this, you see that import this class. It is saying that, okay, import array list class from Java utilities. So if I just click it, you will see there will be another line imported here, similar to this one, import Java utilities. So I'm just importing this. You see that all the reds are gone because now I said I just imported Java util plus array list. So array list now you can use. This is the concept. So you have to always import array list. So remember, if there is an interview happens and during the interview some interviewer asks, when you create array list versus when you create array, what is the biggest difference at the beginning? During the creation of array, right, we did not import anything. There was no necessary, right, to import array, because array is kind of you're just writing code or regular Java code writing. So no import necessary. But array list, when you want to use array list, this is actually already a existing class that you will be using. And you have to always import that array list class. But for array, you don't have to import anything. This is the first point. And second point, what is the difference? array is not flexible. It is fixed length, but array list, you will see in the later that it is flexible. You can always add anything you want to array list. You can always delete, and this is flexible. So you don't have to declare, okay, my array list will be holding 100 item. It may be holding maybe 300 item after 2 months. So this is more flexible. Array list is flexible. So there is another. So whoever is watching this screen right now, what are some other basic difference when I'm creating array versus when I'm creating array list? So this is, I'm creating array list, right? Everybody can see that I'm creating array list here.
Yeah.
So can you see any kind of difference when you're creating array here? When you're creating array here. So this is, you are creating array versus you are creating array list here.
Like in array list, we are writing dot add.
No. In this line, just this line, the new
that
array
line.
list. Here you see that new array. This is also array, new array group, right? So you are making a list of array right here. But here you are making a list. These are some simple that maybe you are not seeing right now. Okay, so in array, you are giving square bracket. You see that here? But array list, you are giving a angular bracket. Can you see?
Yeah.
Also, in array, inside the square bracket, you don't have to give anything when you declare. You see that? But in array list, you always have to declare the type of data. Everybody can see?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is some kind of syntax differences. It's just like understanding purpose. Maybe not. This will not be asked maybe during the interview, but I'm just saying that there are some difference. So anyway, so now going back to array list and how you will be. So here I said in array list that I want to add some more data. So how you can add in the array, how you add it? So you added with giving the indexes. You see that indexes? But in array list, since this is already existing inside the library and you are just using this library, this one already has pre-built method. So you see that dot add, these are already written inside this package, whatever you imported. So if, for example, you want to add, so these cars, it can be any name, right? This is just a variable, the reference variable. So if you want to just write car and then dot, so it will give you a big list of action, right? You can actually do maybe 100, more than 100, like 100 plus. So you see that you can actually add, you can get, you can clear. See that you can just make it empty or not, just check it. Like you can remove, right? You see that lot of option you can actually select. For example, anytime you want to add anything, it will be add dot add, right? Now you see that add has two different things. you can add in index number. You can give, okay, I have 10 stuff here. For example, okay, I am not using this now. So you see that cars. If I run this, I can see all of this list here. So after that, I'm saying I want to add another in my list. So this is Mazda. Now I want to add Toyota also and Honda. What you have to do? Just simply write cars. So this is you are working in a used car company or used car store. Right now that used car has, this is the inventory, this 4 car. So now after 2 months, you are getting 2 other car. Dot add. You see that add? I'm saying dot add and you are giving some Honda. And this red means you need a semicolon. Now you are adding another car. Dot add. You see that add? And you're giving maybe Toyota or maybe Tesla. Anything. It doesn't matter. So you got some Honda inventory, you got some Tesla inventory also. So now you want to see the latest list. Latest list. So previously you saw you had only 4, right? So latest list will be showing you 6. You see that previously was 4, latest is 6. But in array, if you give 4 and all of the sudden you just add something new, it will give you error. If you see now, okay, if I go back. So okay. List here, okay. So this is the loop. Okay, let me go back to W3 School again. And W3 School Java that we always, I want to show you some example that will be, okay. Array, Java, arrays, okay. Now, so same thing we have here. Let me check. Okay, I have here. So I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 thing. So what happened if I want to show you number? Okay, now let me go back and remove this, the original statement that we did last week, actually. So I'm not using this. So we are, okay, we gave this, right? So now I am writing, I'm writing to see something, okay, system.out.println, okay. Go back to index again. So just showing you that this is not cars, this is actually array group. You see that array group giving the suggestion. So now if I run this 5 actually. It will give you 25 because in list number 5, it is array, basically index number 5 is holding 25. So now all of the sudden, now tomorrow I'm saying I need another box that will be holding 50. If I give 6 and write this line and want to see, instead of 5, I want to see 6. So what happened now? If I run this, you see that it is saying your list is fixed for 6 indexes. So now number 7th index, which is index number 6, cannot be added, right? Because array is always fixed. It can be less than 6, but it cannot be more than 6. So it is giving you error. So similar thing that we did here, it is flexible, right? And now after 2 months, I'm getting maybe Mercedes, right? Or some other car. So car dot add. And I'm giving another car, maybe what other cars? Like they have Kia. So Kia has also some cars, right? So now I say, okay, and the latest list. So you can see that there is no problem. Every time you add, your list will be increasing, right? If in a class a new student comes, the registration office just will be adding. They don't have to worry about, okay, this has only list for 5 students. So registration. So what is the situation? What is the situation when you can actually, instead of array list, you can have only array? Can somebody give me example in some school?
I didn't understand the question. Can you
So my question is, I said, if you need flexibility, you will be using array list, right? But some situation you don't need flexibility. You have to add array instead of array list with fixed number. That, okay, this has to be no less than, means no more than this number. It is the maximum number. So yes, so basically even you go to school, right? So if you go to some medical school, so some medical school, when every year, for example, or some engineering school, in some campus, they have maximum limit of allowing student like 50, for example. Can they add 51, 53? So this is like predetermined logic for their school campus. So that this situation, you can actually use array. So remember we said the big difference, when you don't need flexibility, you can use array. So that was the question. So there will be some scenario when you will be using array. There will be some scenario you will be using array list. So if you search Amazon.com and some laptop, right? You don't know that how many people are selling laptop. You don't know how many source it will be displaying. It may be like 2,000 people are selling laptop. Maybe like 900 people are selling laptop. So if you don't know that list, then you have to use array list, right? It maybe tomorrow there is new people will start selling business, right, in Amazon. So there'll be more people. So this type of scenario, search engine will use array list instead of just simply array. But if you say, okay, I want to see just 10 top seller, just top 10, whatever with the highest reviews. If you say top 10, then you can use actually array instead of array list, because you don't need more than 10, right? You can use array. You just need to display 10 top seller laptop in the screen. You see that there's some differences than when you will be using array versus when you will be using array list. So now here, right, in array list, if you want to, now you want to make a sequential order that, okay, this is your top seller, this is your or maybe this one has bigger inventory than this. So you, for example, now you are adding, now you said that, okay, Tesla, I had only one Tesla, so Tesla is gone. Tesla gone. So what you have to do? You have to write another syntax. That means cars dot. You see that dot delete. If you say delete or remove, you see that remove, you can just simply write remove. And you saying that, okay, my BMW is all whatever we had in the store, everything sold out. So now this means if you run this one again, what will happen? You will see there is no BMW. Now you want to say, okay, I now got some more Mercedes-Benz, but I want to keep this on top of my list. What you want to do? You have another option here. First, dot, you see that add. So if you add, right, so you have two options. You can just simply add in the list, or you can say, okay, I want to give this Mercedes-Benz or top of my list. Means top of my list means 0, right? Index wise, it is always 0. So I will use this one. So I have to give first index, comma, then the Mercedes-Benz maybe, right? So index will be 0, and then comma, and then Mercedes, right? So this is, for example, now if you run this again, this is just like reorganizing, right? So if you run this, it will be simply, you see that in the list, Mercedes will be added, but Mercedes will be coming in the beginning, because you're saying that, okay, add my Mercedes on the top of the list. You see that? So you can reorganize, rearrange. Now, we saw in array, if you want to see the size of the array, it will be dot length, length, length. This is the option for array, but for array list, it will be size. So now you want to see the size of this array list car. Cars dot, you see that dot size. You see that this size will give you the number here. So if I run this, can I see the number here? Can somebody tell me? Hello?
I think you can.
I can.
Yeah.
The answer is I will not. it will not give me any error, but I will not see the size, because anytime you want to see here anything, you have to write system.out println.
Length.
Println means it will display here. If you don't type system.print, it will work, but you will not see that. Internally, it is working. So if I just give this one, instead of writing separately, I want to write it inside the println so that I can see the size. So instead of car, I'm giving exactly same thing, right? Except the semicolon, because you already have semicolon at the end. So you see that now? So now if I run this, I will see the size, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will be displaying 7. You see that size is 7 now? Anything you want to see here, you want to display here, you have to write print method. This is a method, print method. So there are some other thing you have to see now. Okay. Now you want to see, I'm just thinking, okay. So if you want to write, this is string, right? But if you want to write number, what you have to write here? Can somebody tell me?
Int.
Int. If I write int, will it work actually? Let me create another class. Java class, array list, demo 2. So in array list concept, so you already, okay. So I'm just copying main method here, for example. So that was the previous one, right? So now I want to write, instead of string, I want to write int. Here also, whenever you write this, both sides you have to do. Why this is error, actually red? So whenever you actually declare array list, right, you have to write the integer type in full form. Like I will be uppercase and T-E-G-E-R, integer. So you cannot just write shortcut. So this is another important concept in array list. So if I, instead of give, so before we saw string, right? String is always like this. We don't write any shortcut for string, right? So that's why we didn't see any problem. But for array list, for int, double, or car, or this type of thing, you see, you have to write everything in full form. Like int is good for everything except array list declaration. So now if I say int, you see that Java integer, this one you have to write. So this is a short form of int, right? That you can actually use for creating any variables or data type. But whenever you declare a array list, you always have to select the complete naming form, right? You see that int here. Same thing here also. In, this one. Now there will be no more. There will be no more error. You see that errors are gone. So now instead of car, I can just give numbers. So this is my array list. So same thing I can do. If I want to add a number, what I have to do? Can somebody tell me? I just did for string, cars. All I have to do, actually numbers spelling is wrong. Actually, NUM, okay. Yeah. So all I have to do, just use the variable, right? The reference variable, number. You see that variable? V means variable, and then dot. And you can add, right? This one is the add. So if you see this, so okay, I am just writing every time this one. And before adding anything, instead of number cars, it will be numbers actually. Instead of car, it will be numbers. So you see that these two line, what is the expectation if I run this now? What is the expectation? Numbers will display nothing, right? It will be blank inside. And also list will be 0, right? Because there is no number at this moment. You see that? The list will be displaying as blank and number is 0. So now if I just, for example, add like couple of more number, I just have to say number, right? Dot add, right? And you can give any number like 100, maybe another number I can give, number dot add, and another maybe 200. So now if I just now run the same thing, instead of this, it will be displaying first, and then it will come here, it will add 2 numbers, and then you will see another list. It will be inside that 100 and 200, and then there will be 2. Everybody can see, right? This is the concept of array list. So now, what happened if you want to see all of them? Instead of like this form, you want to see in a different list. Means not inside that, like one after another, something like this. What is that loop? Okay. This one. Actually, no, let me go to the, not this one. Okay. BMW car, we already saw that. Okay, we already saw that, right? This one actually. Now we can use for loop, and instead of box like instead of displaying as let me go run this again. I just want to show, instead of like this, I want to display in different line, one line, the second line, or this one I want to display, instead of this, it will be displaying Mercedes in one line, Volvo is in second line, Ford is third line, something like that. Let me check using this concept. This for loop, you see that there is a for loop. If you just see and move back. So there is I, right? And there is a cars. So now if I run this, the view will be different, right? Now it was before like this, and now it is displaying vertically. So that was horizontally, like a row style, and this is vertically, like column style. So you can change it. So if you just write cars, it will give you these options. If you write for loop and for loop system.println and for loop, you already saw for loop, right? This is the shortcut for loop. You gave starting point, right, of the list. So it is saying that, okay, string I, right? So string I means anything inside the I, and cars the list. Anything inside these cars will be displaying here. This is the last active one, not like the first that when you had only 4. So it will go to the last line where you had, this is the latest one was added, right? So until that, it will be displaying here. So I means, as you see, this is a reference. So if I give here KLMN, it's still okay. If I give my name also, it's still okay. If I give my name here, still same thing. This is just a reference variable. If I run this, still it will be run same thing. You see that? So this is just like a reference variable. I am an OPQ. So anybody did not understand this for loop actually? Because I think we covered this like 2 weeks ago. This is a shortcut for.
I get a little bit confused because when we just print system auto print without lane, it's kind of the same, right?
Can you repeat your question again, actually?
When we write system auto print without the LN, like lane,
Yes.
it's kind of the same. We want to print in different ways.
Yes, yes. So this one will be actually more useful when you actually work for automation, because in the automation practice, right, you want to see something like that, not like this. And you'll be using for loop instead of just simply giving cars here. You see that you are giving cars here. So cars, the list of cars will be displaying here. But in the real life project, you'll be actually, instead of writing cars here, you'll be writing actually this for loop, where you'll be giving a data type variable and a colon, and then cars. So let me go back, because this one was shortcut for short forms of for loop. Short form of for loop is basically, this is a for each loop. You see that? This will be used mostly with the array or array list. So for array and array list, you will be using short form of for loop. But going back to IntelliJ again. So this basically, you have to just remember this formula for string variable. If this is number, like for example, if I use this one, this will be the integer, right? So there is another concept. This is not for interview, but you can just know that. So if I go there, right? Now I'm adding few more numbers. Okay, I'm adding one more number, maybe add 300, for example. So now I'm writing this for loop. So this string I, so string is coming from nowhere, because you are not dealing with string at this moment, right? So you are dealing with number. And now you see that this is numbers. Whenever you say this is your reference of array list numbers, and now it is giving you red. Now it is giving you red because internally it is checking that numbers are not string actually. Whatever you gave here, these are not string, these are numbers. So number, you're supposed to write int, right? You see that when you declare array list, you said integer in a complete form. But for loop, you don't have to write that. You can write shortcut. Even you write full form, it will be working because integer is same thing as, you see that you can write integer also. Both will be working. Can you see that? Both will be working here. Everybody can see the int and integer both works for loop. But for array list, you have to give the complete form. That was just. Now if I run this, I will see, you see that 100. So the second one give you horizontal way, like a row option. The for loop will give you vertical option. So this is array list. So you can actually play around with array list later. So probably we'll be going to different topic for today again. Let me go. So array list, let me check. So this is for loop. This is also for loop. You can see before going to another place, right? So now exception management is very important. Remember we saw several points when there was error. Like for example, if I go to array and if I run this 6 index, it will be giving you error, right? So it is saying index out of bound exception. There are some other situation when you will be getting the error. For example, now if you give I'm just writing, okay, I'm writing another thing. So I'm giving int p equal to int p equal to any number. I'm giving any number like 10, and int, actually what is that? Okay, and int q equal to 0. So int p equal to 10, int q equal to 0. So now I want to write some print method. So 10 divided by 0 or p divided by q. Instead of this, I will just write p divided by q. So what is the answer here actually? If I run this, what will be the answer for this? Can somebody tell me?
Zero.
Hello?
The answer is gonna be 0.
What is your answer? I didn't get it.
0.
0. Let me run then. You see that you are getting actually error. You are saying error, arithmetic exceptions. So any number divided by 0 will be infinity. You know, like there is a math, any number divided by 0 is infinity, and Java will not handle any infinity number. So it will give you error, right? So there are several other situations when you'll be getting some kind of error, something like that. In array, you saw index out of bound exception, right? Before here. index out of bound means index is not there. We are looking for index, but there is no index like index number 6. So similar way, in Java code, you will see a lot of error. Sometimes you will see error that you maybe not, you don't have solution right now. So you saw some error, and now you see that, okay, you have 10 test cases. Remember in beginning of the course, we had manual testing, test case number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you have test case number 1 to 5 good, and test case number 6 giving you this kind of error. And since this is Java, right, all the test cases will be failed, because in simple Java, if one line is not good, all other line will be also failed. End of the day, you will see exit code 1. That means it ran with error or with failure. So there is a solution. Whenever you see this type of error, you will be saying that, okay, test case 1 to 5 is good, test case 7 is problem, but test case 8 to 10 is good, right? So there are like 3 different situations. So you will say that, okay, run test case 1 to 6, and for test case number 7, since you know that test case number 7 will give you some kind of error, you will say, okay, I know there will be error. Now catch this error and hold it and move forward to next step. Next test case. Don't fail the entire testing execution. So he's saying that the error one, just hold it, catch it and hold it, and show me the answer, show me the error message, but don't fail everything. So this situation actually will be handled by exception handling mechanism. So there is a mechanism I will show you now. So this is very important, especially when you actually work with automation in the future. You will see that, okay, there will be a lot of steps giving you error, and you have to use this exception management mechanism. This is an interview questions also. What is exception management? And this is also called try catch mechanism, because this is similar to like for loop, if else loop like this. There is a formula also you have to use in this error code. Whatever code is giving you error, this code will be part of this exception mechanism. So how it works actually. So this is something like what is exception in Java, right? Exceptions are events that occur during execution of the program. So basically during the execution, you will see some kind of error, right? You see that this is already says divided by 0, any number divided by 0, array access out of bound, etc. There will be like several others. So now these exceptions will be handled using this formula. And how you will be using this formula? These are different type of exceptions name, right? You see that out of memory exception, stack overflow exceptions, array index out of bound exception, arithmetic exception. You already saw these two. So similarly, there are some others, right? So whenever you see these type of exceptions, you have to make sure that your code has this mechanism written also, so that it will not actually fail the entire, you see that it will not fail the entire program. So these codes are good, these codes are good, these codes are good. Only this line, right? You see that this line has problem. For this line, your all other codes are failing also. So now you are saying that, okay, come here, treat this line with exception handling formula, and then go forward. And how you will be doing that? So now I will create another class, exception handling demo. Okay. Just create another class. Exception. This is just class name. So in this class name, in the class, since we are not using any advanced framework, you will always have Java main method. You will always have Java main method. So now, if I copy same one, I will show you. I'm just removing this from here and moving to under exception handling demo class. So now if I run this, it will give you arithmetic exception. You see that exceptions is displaying arithmetic exception. So now I have to use my exception handling concept here. Means mechanism, or use that formula that will be actually handling the exceptions. What is that? So I'm saying, okay, let me go back. And just writing, okay. I'm just writing a little bit more so that you can see. Test case number 4. So I am just writing another one. Okay, so this is nothing. Yes, this is just case number 1, for example. I'm just showing you that how it will be worked in real life situation. Test case number 2. Test case number 3. And now I say test case number test case number 5. Okay, actually not 45, 5. So you have total of 5 test case. Total of 5 test case. Even I don't need this. I'm just simply writing here 10 divided by 0. Okay. So I have 5 test cases. Everybody can see my 5 test cases. You can assume that this is one test case, this is one test case, this is 1, and this is 4 and 5. So, okay, I can just also write 10 divided by 2. This thing also plus 10 divided by 5. Maybe this one is 12 divided by 3. And this one is 15 divided by 5. So this is your 5 condition, 5 test cases. Now if you run this, you see that the entire run is failing, even though this 4 test cases out of 5 actually good, right? But it is failing. now how you can handle this. So now you will say to Java that, okay, whenever you come to line number 13, you see that line number 13? It says line number 13 here also. You see that exception in line number 13. Use a exception mechanism. And what is that exception mechanism? Go back. So you will say try this. You see that? All you will see that say try. Let me copy this formula. There is a formula actually. This is just a formula. Okay, go to formula. So so basically this is your formula. So what is that formula? It's saying try this code. Now I'm moving this one, whatever is my problem code. Which one is the problem code? This one, right? So I'm saying my problem code will be inside the try. Okay. Now I'm saying, you see that exception? Exception is the parent or the common name of all kind of exceptions that you see. You can just simply write these exceptions, or you can also write whatever you see here, arithmetic exception. You see that arithmetic exceptions? You can write arithmetic exceptions also. You can write index out of bound exceptions also, right? But if you see here, right? The example is just exception. You can actually use, instead of just exception, you can specify also. And if you specify, it will also work. For example, if I go back and just copy this, and instead of this, okay, what is that? So if I just copy, you see that still no red, right? So sometimes maybe you are not 100% sure that what exception is that. So to be in safe side, if you are not 100% sure this is this exception, just write exception, right? Instead of a specific name of the exception, just write this part, exception. So just see that part for now. I'm saying catch this and write something else. And I want to say, so you're saying that, okay. I'm saying that test case number 4 has exception. So I'm saying run this, but write this message that, okay, this has exceptions. So all of them, I'm just giving this calculation inside the parentheses so that, so if you don't give this as a parenthesis, that will sometimes not calculate properly. Okay. So this part, anybody is confused about this part, what I just did? This part, this is the formula. Anybody did not understand? Hello?
So
No,
do
we
you
are
say that you don't need to open a parenthesis before 10?
This one?
Yeah.
No, this one will be counting as 10 divided by 0. You can put this parenthesis just to specify, just calculate this part. But if you see W3 school, go to exceptions handling, 1 second. Java exceptions. This one. You see that? Java exceptions. So now, I'm saying try this block. And then you see that catch. So basically any exceptions will be found here inside the try. That will be catched inside the catch block. So try will be always with the problematic code. So anytime you have a problematic code or anytime you see that, okay, some code is giving error, but you will fix it later. Maybe you will fix it later, not right now. Then you will give this inside the try block. And then this error, right, or exception will be inside the catch block. And then going forward, it will be running. So if I run this now, what happens? Let's see. Before we saw that, right? So now, if I run this, you see that? Everybody can see? So it actually gave you some warning that, okay, we couldn't calculate this. This has exceptions. So now the problem is, why I can see 1, 5 instead of, I was expecting 5, right? Can somebody tell me why I can see 1, 5 instead? I was expecting test case number 1 will be 5. Because I didn't give any space. Remember last class, somebody, I think Gilma, you asked they're displaying close. So what do you have to do? Just give a space here, right? You see that? Everybody can see, right? If I give space, then you will see, you can see the proper calculation. Now you can see. So everybody can see how try-catch mechanism work, right? So all the error code that you have in the future will come inside the try, and reminder code will, and then catch will be actually displaying some kind of mechanism or warning sign that will be actually. So you can change anything here. You can give actually my test case number 5 also. Instead of this, I'm giving you test case number 5 also inside this. So now if I run this again, you see that it is working. So try will catch the exception, means try will create the exception. That catch part will catch this exception and will say, don't fail it. This catch Basically, this is the purpose of this catch means, okay, use this exception, hold it, and say Java that, okay, continue the testing. Don't give any exception, don't give any error. Just continue. See that? But we saw before it was giving error. So anybody has any confusion about try catch mechanism? There is another concept also for try catch mechanism. So there will be try, there will be catch, and there will be another part is finally. So what does that mean actually, finally? So that means, so you can add actually another line here. So basically finally will be, so if you have like 3 different test scenario, right? So you will be adding inside the try with all the problematic code, and then catch, and then finally. So finally can be containing all the good code that you know that, okay, they will run even anyway. So it will be running. So now if I just copy this actually, just copy this. Okay. Not this one actually. Okay, so let me create another maybe exception handle, and then I will move to different topic. Okay. So what is finally here actually? So this is a code, right? Java main method. So it is saying what type of topic is that? This is array or array list? Can somebody tell me? Hello?
Which one? I'm sorry.
The line I'm highlighting, this is array or array list?
Array.
Yeah, why you think this is array actually?
Because it doesn't say array list.
It doesn't say array list. Okay. So this is one of the, this is one of the important point that you mentioned. Also, you can clearly see that array list does not have this kind of curly bracket, right? Array list has something kind of angular bracket. Also, array list always contain data type at the beginning, but this one doesn't have any data type in the beginning, right? So these are some of these. Okay, so this is true. This is array. So this is some array, and now it is saying that you can clearly see this array has only 3 numbers, right? The length is 3. That means index 0, 1, and 2. Now, this line is looking for some number from index 10. And previously we saw that if you don't have an index here that is you're looking for, that will give you index out of bound exception, right? Now, since you know this will be a problem, you are giving inside the try block. And try block will be catching that one. Catch. You see that catch? So this index out of bound exception will be catched inside this. And after that, what will happen? It will run, right? Something went wrong, and it give you the warning. And then finally, it is saying that, okay, so it can be any code here. That is the good code. So all the good codes are here. You see that? Finally, we'll be holding all the good codes. So if you run this, so it did not give you error. This error was gone because it is catching here. So it says something went wrong with the first line. It says that, right? Went wrong. And then it says try catch is finished. So this is just like formula. Remember, you have similar concept, if else, and then if else, if else, if else, similar things. So there can be 2 portion or there can be 3 portion. If you use just 2 portion, try and catch, and then continue with other code later, it's still okay. There is no problem. You can use like this, or you can use like this. You can say this is like 6, for example. Okay. And, or you can also say catch and then similar like this. You see that? Finally, I can just say finally. You see that finally word there? And you can just move this line inside this block. You saw the difference actually? Finally is not mandatory all the time. You can just keep it separately, the good code, but you can keep also inside the finally. You see that? Everybody can see. The most important part is try and catch. This part you have to use for handling the exception. Okay, so I think exception.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, the finally is like where the block stop.
So what happened if finally has, for example, again 0? You see that if finally has again 0, that will be actually running, the code will be giving you error again. You see that? So finally should not have any code that has problem. So the problematic code will be always going to inside the try block. So if you have something like that, right, what you can do, instead of finally, you can create another try block. You can say just try. And then you can say catch.
I have a question. So instead of putting another try catch for the case number 6, can we not put that case under the previous try catch, or like we have to put it like every time there is an error?
You can put every time if you have like 100 lines of code, right?
Mhm.
Anytime you think that some line has exceptions or error, you can use this as a try catch. You can handle this specific code with try catch. So I'm saying try this, then catch this, and then I can say 6. So you see here, now I can write another thing. So you see that I have like maybe 7 different test cases. So I know test cases number 4 and test cases number 6 has problem, right? These 2 have problem. So I put inside these 2 try catch, right? And then run this. No problem. Actually, that was this is just test case number 7. This one does not have 6. So you see that basically anytime you see error, you have means exceptions, right? You have to use exception handling concept. This part you understood?
So sorry. So my question was, maybe I didn't. So for example, let's say test number 7 has another exception error.
Okay.
So it's like, so if can we like not put system dot, like line number 29, can we like not copy and paste like that test case and put it under line number, like with the line number 27, like under that, so that the try and catch run for both the test cases, like one try and catch code, can it be run for 2 test cases at the same time?
Yes, that I was showing in the beginning. So you have two options. You can keep the good code separately, or you can keep the good code inside the catch, the following as part of like this. Or you can also put the good code as finally, what is that? Yeah, finally like that. So your good code can go separately, your good code can go under the finally, or your good code can go after the catch. So your good code always will be going on after the catch block. So this is the first part to catch the exception. But your good code cannot be inside that. So try block will be holding only the bad code. Or you
So
think
two bad codes cannot be like in the same try catch.
two bad code. Okay.
Yeah.
Two bad code command. Okay.
Like to fix
Yeah,
them.
like if in the next line I put system dot out print, yeah, like
Okay. So you see that, okay, this is maybe 25.
yeah,
Okay.
and we do like case 7. Okay.
Okay. So two bad code will be
Okay.
also going inside the try.
Okay.
But there
Yeah,
is a problem. 1 second. If I give this, okay.
7.
If I give this is, for example, this is 9.
Mhm.
And run this. So where is 9? So basically it will be going through the first one,
Mhm.
and then it will move forward. So
Okay.
usually like two bad code is not
Cannot be
recommended to
together.
give because it will be probably skipped.
Yeah.
The second one will be skipped. So try code will be actually holding one code, means that is wrong.
Okay.
But you have try, then catch, then finally. But there is another option. Let me check. Try, catch. Okay. So I didn't see actually anybody used two bad code in a, or two test cases that has bad code in a same try. So I see this is one.
Like for example, there are like 10 test cases, and
Yes.
Test case number 6 and test case number 8 has the exceptional error, and if we put like both of them together, then will the
No,
code,
it is
it
not
will not
recommended.
consider?
No, it is
Okay.
not recommended. So basically, try will be actually working with one bad code, and that. So basically, so for example, if you have one is okay, one is let me go back to that one again. So that probably will give you some good sense maybe. And now instead of this, I'm giving you. So here actually, both of them actually bad, right? Bad code. You can see that.
Yes.
So now, if I run this, it is not giving you exceptions, but at the same time, when you run this, the log file, right? Log file will always go with the first one. And the second one, what happened in the Java, in the exception handling? The Java will start processing from the top line, right? So it will come to line number 23. You see that line number 23?
Yeah.
It will come line number 23. It will listen, try. Then it will come to line number 24. Then it will listen line number 24. So line number 24, whenever it comes to line number 24, by the end of line number 24, it already has an exception. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Anytime it find exception, it will not move forward to 25, 26, 27, 28. It will jump out of this loop and go to catch. It will not even look this.
Okay.
This code will never be run. Even this code is bad or good, doesn't matter actually. Java will never actually come back to this line number 26 and 7. Line number 26 and 7 will be there forever. It will be run. It will not be executed. You see that that will be just skipped, overlooked by JDK, basically. That's why you don't keep one try and keep all the like 10, 15 code inside.
Okay.
That's the concept actually.
Got it. Thank you.
You can keep it, but it will not be executed. Means the testing will not be done correctly. But you will not see any error also. Okay. So that's why it is not recommended because it will jump right here whenever it gets the exception. But what happens if you give same thing here? If you run this, it will be giving you error. You see that? So that means you have to treat this exception again separately. So this is basically try catch mechanism. Any line of code you think will give you error, then go there. So so another important concept here actually, so you should probably understand. So I don't like to give the other good code inside the catch. Why? Can somebody tell? Like, for example, there is some other good code. This is actually interview question. This is another interview question. 9, maybe 9. So I have some good code like 8 and 9. And I'm giving inside the catch. Those are good code and that should be ran also. So why this is not recommended? Instead of this, recommendation is give maybe inside the finally, not or separately, not inside the catch. Why? Can somebody tell me? This is an interview question. Very, very important interview question.
Because
Go ahead.
because like you said, if it catches like an exception on the line 24, it will not even check the other two, and it will just jump directly to line 26, which is catch.
No, if it goes to line number 26, then it will be ran. This will be also ran. But what happens if it does not actually go to line number 26? If it doesn't go to line number 26, this good code will not be ran also. What happens if instead of, you are thinking that this probably an exception, right? But
Yeah.
you think this is not an exception. These two code will never be ran actually, because without exception, it is not going to catch block. You see that?
Yes.
So if I run this, you not gonna see test case number 8 and 9. There is not a 8 and 9 actually. Because this line is now good. This is not exception. If for any reason you are thinking this maybe will throw an exception, but actually this was a good code. So anytime good code, catch will never be executed. Catch will only execute if there is a problem. You see that the logic?
Yeah.
So that's why probably finally is the right choice here. So anytime you think this is a good code, move inside the finally. So now if you run this, you will also see 8 and 9. You see that? Finally will run anyway. Finally doesn't depend on try or catch. You see that? Try catch actually dependent to each other kind of, right? So if try is bad, catch will execute. If try is good, catch will never execute. Catch, you don't need catch. So this is the logic actually. So you should not keep good code inside the catch block. Any confusion in this logic?
No.
Okay. So this is try catch mechanism or exception handling. Very, very important topic. So, okay. So this one we already started a little bit last class. So how to, you already know few stuff, right? How to create a class, how to create object. You already know some kind, right? Like how to create an object. So if I now ask you, what is a class? Can somebody tell me what is a class? So basically, in simple term, class is a blueprint to create any objects. So class is a common template. And using this template, you will be creating other objects also. So for example, you can say regular car, like vehicle, right? For example, is a car, vehicle, or transportation system, like you can say vehicle, right? This is an object. So, but there are so many subcategory, but they always will have some common features, right? So that means these objects will be always having some common features from the class. So class is kind of a parent here, right? So objects, right? Like you can think objects are like child and classes will be kind of parent if you just consider the link. So this way, you see where object-oriented programming concepts coming, so that you can reuse. So the purpose of object-oriented programming concept is reuse same code again and again. So you wrote one test cases to create Volvo or to create Toyota. So now you have this object, and now for your another 20 test cases, you need this object Toyota, object Volvo. So the purpose of this concept is, once you have one object, you don't have to create them again for another 20 test cases. Just use that object again and again and again. That will actually do several things. During automation, you will see it is saving you time. It is saving you time because remember I said, if you create this object one time, there is a concept you will be using in Java so that you can just use that same object again and again for other test cases. That will be make your code neat and clean. You probably have to write 200 lines of code. Instead of that, you are writing maybe 20 lines of code. Your code will be neat and clean, right? Maintainability, another will be, maintainability means anytime you have any changes in the code, you can easily update, maintain, right? So maintainability will be another important concept through this process. Saving time, maintain easily, right? Making code neat and clean, more user friendly, more readable, right? All of this is part of this concept. So now there are 4 important concepts that you have to learn actually end of the Java part: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So encapsulation, so these are actually some concept is part of core Java. That is, as I said, reusability, maintenance. Remember, this, all of these things will be actually make sense when we will be covering this, all of this part, and how they're important actually. How they're important, because you see that each of these topic, right, are not only is important for your work, also important for your interview. So if you, from interview point of view, they will be asking, what is encapsulation? What is inheritance? What is polymorphism? What is abstraction? Some new name, right? This is part of your Java. This will be part of your Java. So now creating object and creating these concepts and using those concepts to the coding need some kind of practice. So first, I'm just thinking, where should I start first? Let me check. So before going to that, we want to start a little bit of object creation first. Then I will go to this concept. So if you just create object, I am creating another actually package. New package. I'm just writing OOP. So object-oriented programming concept. So this is package. So inside this package, I will write a new class. A new class will be object, right? Creation object, right? Object demo1 maybe. So if you see object now, if I go to W3 School, for example, so you see that creating object. What are object? What is object? What is class? There is some nice reading here. You see that the class, right? So class is a common feature or common template. So under the class, right, there can be several objects. That means this class can be used for creating other objects. So fruit is a common name of all the fruits, right? So they're like, for example, apple, banana, mango, or whatever other fruits you say, grapes. Everything is part of fruits, the common family. So these objects will be part of this class family. So this is the concept actually. So whenever you create a new fruits, right? So now I have 3 fruits. So now tomorrow I want to create another fruits that is called maybe grape, right? Another called maybe orange. So all you have to do, you have to create a template. You have to create a template for regular fruit. So if you think about car, right? This car, regular car, has a template. Every car has a different type of body template, right? So SUV has their own body template. Sedan has their own body template, right? Van has their own body template. Sports car has their own body template. Maybe, and each car has like 4 wheels, right? And they probably has either 2-door or 4-door. Van has maybe different. They can have multiple door, 4-door plus back door, So how they are connected? So if you think about creating that, go to next. We already showed you some class, right? So what is class? So far, we wrote so many classes actually. So far, like for example, here we wrote classes, here we wrote classes, right? What are those actually? What is class actually here? So classes are, if you think about class, if you go back to week number 1, where is week number 1? Okay. So, okay, go to, okay, week 2, for example. Switch demo, okay. If else demo. So here, right? So this is one of the class. If else demo is a class. So now what is actually class? Class have variables, right? Class has data and class has method. Anything else, class has nothing else, right? Variable, data, right? Methods. And methods means, you see that public static void main. Anything. So one important interview question: how you can say something is a method? How you can say something is a method? Can somebody tell me how you know this is a method? So anytime you see a parenthesis, that is a method. You see that public static void main. Main always start with a parenthesis. That after the main, there is a parenthesis. But any class, you see that will be starting with curly bracket. Class will start with curly bracket. Method will start with regular parenthesis. You see that? Everybody can see, right? My screen.
Yes.
So this is like basic differentiation that whenever you see some code, you can say, okay, this is a class. If else demo is a class because it starts with curly bracket. Anytime it starts with curly bracket is a class. Anytime it start with regular bracket, you see that system.out println. Println is a method. How you know that? This is not starting with curly bracket. This is starting with regular parentheses, right? Public static void main. This is not a class. This is a method because they start with parentheses. So closing this, actually object, going back and going back to my class, creating object. So a class, if you think what is a class? Class is a combination of attributes and method. You see that attributes? Attributes means name, variable, age, any information, all the information, right? Any information, data type you see, this is part of your attribute. And anything you do with those attributes are method. Basically print method, main method, anything you do, anything you do, those are method. Or user action, anything you do as part of action is method. So creating a class, right? So if you think about creating a class, so this is a main class. For example, this class has only one attribute, like one data type x equal to 5. So now you want to create you want to create an object of this main method. So all you have to do, just you see, you have to create using the new word. We already used new word before, right? To create an object. I will go again, but you can see here. You see that the word new? New will be the word you will be using to create any time you will be creating a object from a class. This is the interview question. How you can create an object from a class. So for example, if you think this is a class, this new word will be creating a object from this class. So for example, array list is a class. This number is basically representing everything from this class. You see that? This is a number, this is just a reference variable. So now you can say human is a class. So you, me, any people, right? Anybody's name. So human, Shanto, is a new human, right? So is a basically I'm getting all the human features in me, right? So basically the word new will be creating a copy. You see, if you take biology, right, is a genetic features from human to human. So for example, this is a class. So now you are making a copy of some, you are making a clone, for example. You are making a clone of this array list. And this is a clone. So this can be clone 1, clone 2, clone 3. So you can make 200,000 array list reference. This is just one. Numbers 1. So numbers 2, numbers 3, numbers 4. You can have as many as possible. All you have to do every time you write new, it will be created. It will be created as new class. So new class will be the object of this original parent class, right? So this is kind of parent. And all of this will be kind of child, you can say, right? So objects are kind of child from the parent. So you are creating a new object class using the word new. Everybody understood that how you create a class? Means not class, object using a existing class. You probably will be understanding more if once I move forward, actually. Okay. So if you see this, actually, I'm just copying and showing you exactly in the IntelliJ. So this is your object. So what does that main, why this main is red? Because we don't have any main class here. What class we have? We have object demo1 class, right? This class we have. So instead of doing in a single line, I can actually, okay. I'm not using like this. So I will use two separate class. So one class will be like your template class. So I'm saying this is car. For example, I'm just writing instead of object, I'm just changing the name. Class cars or cars, yeah. Car. So this one, rename file, you see that? So you see, when I change this car also changed the name. Can you see, everybody? So you have to change this name also. So if you change here anything, you have to make sure this is matching. Otherwise it will not work, right? So this is connected. So now, so whenever you actually create a class, you don't need to add main method. So when you need main method, so main method you need when you want to run this class. So if you want to execute some class, you need main method. So I'm just deleting all of this. So I have some class and this class has few things. So I can say the int number of wheel. And then I say, I don't have to actually say how many number of wheel. I can say this car will have wheels. If you think about some car may have maybe 6 wheels, some car may have 8 wheels, right? So I didn't declare anything. So different type of car will decide what type of, how many number of car will have. So I can say int number of what is that? Engine or something, right? Cylinder, I can say cylinder. So every car is different, right? Some car has 4 cylinders, some car has 6 cylinders, some car has 8 cylinder, right? So sports car usually have. So I can say string, right? Color. Every car has a color, right? Some kind of color. And I can say string body type. Everybody understood that what I just did? So I just declared that I created a car and this car will have these 4 features. I declared and this car will have these 4 features. So now I am creating a test car. I'm creating a test class. So if I create another class, that will be my test class. And my test class will have main method. Because test class, I want to run my code. If I want to run my code, I have to have a main method. Test cars. So this is actually, so in the test car, since I want to run my test car, I need a main method, right? Here you see that you need a main method because you want to test it. But car, this is a template. You don't need a main method. You just need some information there. So test car, what I'm doing, I want to create a clone of this car. And my clone name will be maybe Honda. Honda is a clone of my car class. And how you can clone? Remember is here. Anytime you want to clone, always start with your main class that you are cloning. Like here is main, right? But for me, this is car. And my object is here basically Honda, Mercedes, BMW, or whatever you say is an object of car class. So if I write, so I want to write a, basically I want to create a car class, right? Car object. So since my car is this is my main car. Whatever is the your blueprint template is car. You see that car? And you can simply write like this. You see that car and whatever you want to declare. So like, for example, if you think human object, right? We all are some human object. You name, you are one object. I am one object. Another person will have, okay, let me add my charger. Actually, this charger is out of charge. 1 second. Okay, I added my charger plugged in. Okay. So you can give, this is kind of reference variable. So creating object means you are just creating a reference variable of this car type, right? So right now I am creating maybe Honda. So whenever you create a reference variable, that will be always starting with lowercase letter. So remember I said you cannot give this variable name any name. Always there are some reserved name. I cannot give a static here. So if I give static, like you see that static, it will give me error because this static is reserved for main method. I cannot give this is static. So I have to give something else. So I'm just giving Honda. This is my clone. I'm basically making a clone Honda from car class. So since I'm making a clone of Honda, this Honda will have all these features, means all of this variable, all of these attributes. So basically those are attributes. And what you have to do, you have to write a word new. And if you want to write new, again, same thing is car. You see that? And semicolon. So this is the formula to create an object. Anytime you want to create an object, so car is a blueprint to create other car objects. So now I want to create a new car Honda. So all I have to do, this is the main car, that the class, right? You are trying to make blueprint clone that car, and naming convention, you will give any name that is related. So since we are handling with car, we are giving some car name, new car. So now a new car Honda is created. So if you now write Honda, so how you know this is a blueprint or this is cloned from car? So if you write Honda, right, and then give a dot, you will see all of these features: body type, color, number of cylinder, and number of wheel. You see that this is also available for Honda, because by writing new, you already cloned anything that this car has. So all of these cars genetic feature now moving under Honda. So you can just write dot. So anytime you write dot, you will see all the features. So I want to say my Honda color here equal to for example, I want to say red. You see that you did not give any color here, but whenever you're writing or creating object, you are giving the different type of color based on if you need, right? So that's way you are creating an object and you are using this feature from the car. So you are not declaring any more body type or cylinder or number of wheel or number of color, anything you don't need to write. You already have from this. So can you see something that body type is purple and those are like gray? Can you know, can somebody tell me why? Because body type is already used. So anytime you will be using some of these variables, attribute, the color will be changed to purple. So now if I use the actually I use the body type, right? Okay, that should be actually color. Color, it should be color. So now you'll see. Okay, okay. Let me check why it's okay. Let me. Is that color is there? Yeah, color is there. Let me do it again. Dot. I can say sedan. This is a body type, right? Not this. Okay, so they are updated accordingly. So now if I say number of wheel, 4, or I can just say number of cylinder. I'm not giving number of wheel for now. So sedan, I'm just making like something regular Honda Civic type of thing. So I can write something number of cylinder will be actually, this is integer, right? So that's 4 cylinder, for example. So number of wheel, if you see number of wheel dot also 4. So here you can see sedan, but Honda actually think, okay, we have another thing. We have multiple model. So all you have to do, you can create a new attribute for Honda. For example, BMW has their own model like X5, X3, X7, something like that, right? So Honda has like Honda Accord, Honda Civic, right? Something like that. So I can create a reference variable. Another thing. So I can say string I can say model equal to, actually not equal to, I'm just declaring this. I will use here. So if I just type Honda and give dot, I don't see model, right? Because this model is not coming from the parent, like original template. This model is coming from this test car class, right? This test car is basically whatever I'm creating now, Honda. So this is not coming from the original, the clone version. So you will see here everything that coming from the clone of car, nothing else. So that means you don't need to give Honda. All you have to give, just you have to write model equal to, I can say Civic. So you see that anytime you declare something, right? Some variable, you already gave the data type. You don't have to give this data type again and again and again. You already gave this string, right? You don't have to write a string here. So if I want to, if I want to now see something like this, like system.println. So what I have to do now? So if I see all of this information, can somebody tell me what I have to do? All I have to do, just write each of these variables, because those are variables, right? So I have so far 5 variables. So all I have to do. So first variable is maybe color. So how I can see that variable? So how I can print those? I want to see this red. You see that there is an option. Remember, we gave an option means Honda. So you have to write this with the object that you created. So I can say, I can directly write model. You see that model? I can directly write model because model is not from the clone. Anything you are using clone, it should be come with the Honda. For example, next one. You see that Honda? And whenever you say dot color, same thing, Honda, right? So you always have to use this reference variable. Dot, maybe body type, Honda. Dot, number of wheel. Dot, so then I need cylinder, right? Number of cylinder. So if I run this, I will see all of this information here, right? Civic, red, sedan. So there is another thing, right? We can actually use now all of these lines. Everybody can see, right? Still can see my screen. Hello?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Only for Honda, right? So I want to write actually all of these for another car. So I want to create exactly same thing. I want to create another car. Another car will be maybe Toyota. And write it again for just copying paste. And now instead of, since you cannot have same variable again, right? You can write car. I'm writing maybe Toyota. So if I run this now, what's gonna happen? If I run this, so Toyota, I'm giving some different color, maybe. So instead of red, I'm giving blue. Instead of sedan, I'm giving maybe SUV. Instead of 4-cylinder, I'm giving 6-cylinder. Instead of wheel 4, still wheel 4 is good. Civic, but Toyota doesn't have same model. Toyota has maybe Corolla, right? Or Camry, anything. Oh, Camry is not actually this is sedan. You can say RAV4. So I'm giving some different information. Number of wheel. Now, if I run this, what is supposed to see? I'm just writing a new name. So I'm just giving a separation. Separation means just want to see two different line. So now I run this. So you see that there's two things, right? So everybody see that the difference actually. But this code has a bug. This code has a problem, defect. Can somebody figure it out? This is an interview question also. This looks like it is displaying correctly, but the code is actually not the right code. What is the issue here? Can somebody tell me? If you see that there is an issue. It looks like it is displaying correctly, right? Even though, but it will not maybe work for other things. So the bug is here, whenever you create a new object, you see that you're supposed to change their name also. It's still Honda here, you see that? It should be now, it should be actually, instead of Honda, it should be Toyota. You can see that actually, everybody? So all you have to do just, I think, copy and paste maybe. So if you don't change this, so basically eventually you will see everything from actually Honda, not the Toyota. So now if you run this, so these codes are, this is the right information with the right code. So for displaying this, right? So what happens if I write the same thing for another 10 different cars? What's gonna happen? Can somebody tell me? I want to create another 10 different cars. Can somebody give the answer? What is the appropriate process? Hello?
Yes. Do you say you want to create what?
I want to create another a few more cars. So how I can create? So I created Honda, I created Toyota. So if I create another like 10 different car, so you see that for each different car, right? You are writing like 10, 12 different line, right? So each car, maybe for example, just displaying the stuff, right? You are writing 5 different line. But do you need to write these 5 different line actually? So this way, it comes about reusability. So if you think now, you see that these 4 line, this 4 line, right, is coming from, this 4 line actually will be used again and again and again for all the cars, right? So what you can do, you can create a common method under this car. You see that here? And now if you create an object, you don't have to write this anymore. Can you see the logic here? So that
Yes.
every time you create a new car, this 4 line you don't have to write anymore. That part you understood, right?
Yeah.
So now if I just simply now, okay, so if I just write under this, so you will see there is error. So if I now go to W3 school, then I'm coming back. Class method. Excuse me, sorry. So if you see that this is a class and it is writing some kind of method. And how you can write this method. So now if I go to my IntelliJ, so I will create a method here. So what is the, okay, what is, actually, let me explain a little bit differently. So what is the difference between classes and method when you see from the coding point of view, like how you can figure it out?
The class start with the curly brackets. I forgot the names.
Yeah, so classes
And so-
start with curly bracket,
Yeah.
but method will start with regular parentheses, right?
Yeah.
So similar way, you will just write it. So now if I write one method, so method will be public void. And so anytime you use a method, that will be just simply giving this type of print, right? So you have to use public void. Void means there will be no calculation or no return, nothing. So then you have to give a method name. So I'm just giving a method name display. So display is a method name, for example. Now all you have to do, just give a parenthesis, right? Now, so you see that this parenthesis so method has two different portion. Actually, I have to explain. So one portion is starting with this parenthesis, right? The second portion will be starting with curly bracket. So for this void method, right, I want to actually use this. So since this is a common one, I don't need this Toyota, then what is that? Honda or Tesla, whatever is that, you don't need this. All you have to do, just and you can also add the body type or model here also. You don't need this model. You can also add this because you will be actually reusing this actually. So if you are reusing this model, just add this inside the main class, right? So that you can just use it again and again. And now you don't need this model anymore. So if you think about you don't need this model anymore, then what you need? Then you have to add the reference variable here, right? Again, you have to add reference variable. Same thing here also. Toyota. And same thing. Actually, I spell wrong. Toyota, okay. Okay. So far you understood that what I just did? Hello?
Yes.
So I created 2 car, Honda, and so my target is this 5 line, right? I don't want to write every time. If I have like 20 different cars, I have to write this 5 line again and again. So I want to avoid this extra work. So what I'm planning to create a common method. The common method is display and another line, right? 5 line total. And I want to write this model, right? Okay. So if I now see this one, so I'm just deleting this. I am also deleting this. So if I just type Toyota and then dot, you see that this display method is already here now, is added. Everybody can see?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I just write this and just run this now, for example, and also I want to do same thing here, Honda, and then dot display. So what's gonna happen now actually? You see that exactly same thing I can see now. Everybody can see? Now, if I create 50 different car, all I have to do just use this method. And this method is basically reusable method, right? You see that? This is the method I created. This is a common place where I keep. So in the future, when you create automation script, for example, right? So anytime you will see that, okay, I'm creating one method that is not for only one test case or not only one test step. I probably will be using this for again and again and again for several of my test cases. So you will keep one package or one class and save this method there so that you can actually use this method by calling it. So now what you are doing, you are actually you are doing without using this 5 line again and again and again. So now you see one thing, another thing actually. Now you see that, okay, there is still problem. I don't want to write again these 6 different line, 5 different line again and again. See that for every different car, you are writing this 5 line. What happen if you can write this 5 line with that only 1 line? That will even make your life more easier, right? Everybody can see. So this is called parameterized method. So that means you are basically, whenever you create this car, you at the same time, you will be giving the attributes inside it. You see that car and inside some parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you'll give this red, Siran, 4. So this I will be showing you today because we have 5 minutes. I can show you. Sorry. So the ultimate goal, right? So where we are approaching, the way we are approaching, we are reducing our extra work, basically, right? So far, we reduced these 5 lines. Every car we are creating, we don't want to write all 5 lines again and again, so that we created a reusable method, and this reusable method we can actually use. Every time we have to just call this display method, and we actually saw this here. So same thing we can do for writing the attributes in the same line instead of writing 5 different lines. So if you see, I'm just checking first if it is showing anywhere. Method, you see that method parameters. This is the topic that I will be explaining in like, I think, next 10 minutes, then we'll be done today. So method parameters. So method parameters is basically, if you now public static void main, right? So you see that this, so this code basically featuring to create okay, 1 second, I am just checking this if I should use this one or I should just write my own. Okay, so we can actually go to different concept, method parameter, right? Let me just first see I have here written or not, otherwise I will go to different concept, because end of the day our goal is to reduce the effort. It is same. Okay. Actually, oh, okay. So actually it will be part of your polymorphism. So that method, parameterized method, that will be part of your constructor. That is actually next class. I'm just thinking, okay. Okay, I'm just so there is a method. Okay. So that one actually covered next class, but there is another topic that I missed. That topic is parameterized method. Where is that object? Okay. So I will create another class actually. I know we are almost done, but few more minutes. So parameterized method. So what is parameterized method actually? So if we actually, I'm just first copy this, then that will be easier. Then I will explain. Okay. So you see that before we created some parameters, and those parameter was string and int, this type of information that we created test class. So actually I'm not using this one, I'm using my one. So what happened, I said I want to use them inside my main method. My main method was here, right? So you see that this is empty right now. So this is gonna holding your signature. So this is called method signature. So this method signature will be holding all kind of parameterized values that you can actually use. So this one actually I'm not using. I'm using actually my one. So here you see that color, body type, number of cylinder, number of wheel, model, all of them are attribute and will be used for all the cars, right? So now what's gonna happen? I will be actually use this inside this method signature so that I don't have to write all of this line again and again. How I can do that? So all I have to do, I have to just declare them. And you see here, right? So it is declaring. So it is saying static void method and it is saying the way we wrote same thing instead of here, right? I'm directly writing here. So what is that? But there is a related another topic that I will be covering in the future. So all of them I'll just copy and paste. Okay, so now next int number of cylinder. Then comma, then string color. Okay, then string body type. Then comma, string model. So I move this everything here, right? So now I will be just comment out this one. Okay. So since I comment out, so what is that use issue? What is it saying? Just type it and see. Okay. Related problem. Okay. So you see that this problem right now, because since we added this parameter, so this is also called parameter, so that you can directly add the value here. You see that before we have to declare and then add the value here. And you can see this is the 4th line here, right? So now if I just simply comment out at this moment. So commenting out, everybody understanding, just I'm commenting out.
Kind of.
So means I'm not using this line at this 5 line anymore at this moment. So this 5 line, I'm not using it. So what I want, you see that here, only 1 line. So inside that, if I give this information, for example, red, comma, then sedan, actually we have to follow the sequence here. So what we gave, we gave int first, number of wheel. Okay. That's why it's giving me red. So it is saying that I have to follow the sequence. Number of wheel 4, number of cylinder 4, and then color, okay, is red. And then I'm saying body type, sedan, right? And then says model is Civic, right? Okay. Same thing I will do here also. Number of wheel 4, number of cylinder 6, then body color is blue maybe. And then not here, here. And then body type is SUV. Then model is RAV4. Oh, actually, this will be inside the double quotation. So you see that I'm deleting all of these 5 lines now. I'm deleting all of these 5 lines again. So you see that there was 20 line before, and now there are 4 line. Everybody can see? Hello?
Yes.
So because I entered all of my values inside this parameter. So if I run this, actually, my result is still same. My testing is still same, giving me exactly same test result. But I reduced how many lines? Like 20 lines I reduced already, just for 2 cars. You see that before was like 20 or 22 lines total. And now there are only one time just creating object and give everything in 1 line. You see that give everything in 1 line. You don't have to declare, you don't have to write another 5 line, another 5 line to print. You see that all of this line you reduced because you created a usable method here. You see that you just created a usable method. All you have to do just call this method. You saw that, right? So this is the so far last topic for the day. I just want you to understand this, that whatever I did. This is called parameterized method, so that you can add parameters with the method, and you can use this parameter method to initialize and run the code. Everybody can see here. You created a car Honda, you created a car Toyota, and then everything you gave here. Everybody is just like clear about this concept that I'm just doing.
Yeah.
This will be very, very important concept actually. But this concept sometimes you cannot use. So there is an alternative concept will be coming next class. So what happened? You are not giving your color. I'm not giving the color. You see that if you don't give the color, your entire code is red. So this method, basically, when you have parameterized method, if there is a parameterized declaration here, you have to use all of them. Exactly same order. So this is kind of, again, something like array and array list, right? This is like fixed, right? It's not flexible. You cannot just say, okay, for this car, I will skip the color. You always have to give the color here actually. So if you don't give the color or any of this attribute, it will be giving you error. But next class, we'll see something like constructor where that you can give anything. You can give anything. There is a more flexibility, but it will be next topic. So since that, okay, example, you see that constructor will be the solution, the flexibility. And we'll start actually, we'll actually start this page object concept from next week. So this is another like 2 or 3 class, then Java will be done. Then after Java is done, then we can start automation. So far, the basic, all of this, the object creation using the parameterized method and those things is kind of common for all of them. It's like a basic concept, but we have to understand everything each individually. And we have to know because these are part of your interview. And also there'll be, these concepts will be used for your automation also. So, okay, if you don't have any question today, so we can actually close the call today actually. Anybody has any question?
When you see the word that it say no usage, is because you haven't write anything, right?
Yes, no usage means we saw earlier when we declared, right? When you declare this, whenever you don't use, you will say this no use. It's like a warning. It's like a warning from Java JDK. That's okay. If you are not using this, why you are creating this? It's like waste of memory. It's saying this is waste of memory. It's like warning message. Like when you use this, you will see that this instead of gray, it will be like purple also. There's 2 things that you will be just observing that. Is no use just like warning message that is saying that you are not using it, you still need it, you can delete it also. Because whenever you declare something, right, somehow they will be using some kind of memory from internal memory, right? So that's just warning message. Any other question?
No.
So I hope I will share all of these documents and also will be updating in YouTube. And please continue with Pavan Kumar's YouTube channel, that Java for Selenium. And anytime any question or any challenge comes, you can always call me or text me or text in the group. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.